everyone, Christy back with you today with another DigiStamp tutorial. Last time I showed you how to make a digital scene by layering your DigiStamps in Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. So we're going to do a part 2 kind of continuation to that today. I mentioned last time that the techniques I showed you would follow through to future videos, and this is one of them. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be taking the DigiStamp Flutist Fairy and the background stamp Flower, and we're going to be layering them in a scene, but in a way that gives more depth than just placing one on top of the other. Now you know we only have 2 images here, and usually to create depth you'll need more than just 2. But in this case, and this is something you can take to other kinds of images, we will only need both of these. So I've gone ahead and opened the PNG of Flower, Flutist Fairy, and created a new canvas to work on. I made it really big just to give us plenty of room. Now you'll also be needing your navigation or navigator window and your layers window. If you don't have both of those open, just go to window and select them, layers and navigator. So the first thing we're going to do is to get both of our images on our new canvas. So what I usually just do is I showed you 2 ways in the last video, but I just usually pull it down and drag it across. I'm just minimizing them to get them out of the way. Alright. Okay, so she is way bigger than this flower. So we're going to just start by getting them in scale with each other. So I'm going to have her selected on my layer, and I'm going to use my transform tool. You can use a specific one like scale, but I usually just use free transform and hold my select down. We went over all of this in the last video. Let's drag her on here. Oh, a little smaller. Smaller. And let's see, just a smidge smaller. That flower is bigger than you think right now. And now, just in case if you're going, why smaller? Okay, now let's zoom in with our navigator. See, this is only 50%. So now I'm going to move her over here for a second. Now you'll see on Flower that it has these petals that are kind of up and closer to the foreground and covers up the center. So what I want to kind of do is to make it look like those petals are in front of our fairy. I mean, this is kind of cute the where it's sitting because it looks like she's kneeling on the center, but just to give a little more depth, I'm going to keep her like this. So we're going to leave her like this and come over to our layers palette. Now you'll see that layer 2 is our fairy, and we can check that by clicking off and on the little eyeball. Layer 1 is our flower, and the background is locked, which is just the white canvas we started with. So for what we're going to do, we're going to select and then drag layer 1 down to this, which will create a copy of that layer. See, layer 1 copy. Now, the next thing to do is we are going to turn off the visibility on layer 1. So now only the copy is visible. Then we're going to turn off the fairy, and we're going to get out our eraser. First, I'm going to start with a really big one. Oops, there we go. And I'm just going to erase anything, and you don't even have to erase everything, but erase anything that is either going to be over the fairy or that we want in the background. So just being kind of careful, changing the size. And the more you do this, the better you kind of get at it. And it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Just kind of like that. Kind of like this idea. There we go. Now we're going to take this layer and we're going to drag it above our fairy. Then we're going to turn back on layer 1, and you'll notice that it looks completely whole. So you turn it off, turn on. And then we're going to turn back on our fairy. And you'll see that now it looks like those petals are up in front of her. If we select that layer and move her down, you can kind of adjust it too. So that is just one way that you can use your DigiStamps to give your images a little extra depth. I really hope that this has been helpful for you and you'll use it in a lot of different creative ways. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.